12 normalized scams everyone just goes along with part 1. When most people hear the word scam, they think of a con artist tricking you on the street, or a phishing email trying to steal your password, but the reality is far more insidious. The greatest scams aren't the ones whispered in back alleys. They're the ones we walk into every single day without even blinking. They've been normalized, institutionalized, and woven so deeply into our culture that we don't even see them as scams anymore. And that's exactly why they're so effective. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on 12 of these so-called normalized scams that nearly everyone just goes along with. And in doing so, you'll begin to see just how many ways society subtly drains your money, your time, and even your sense of freedom, all while telling you it's perfectly normal. Let's begin with one of the most absurd, convenience fees. Think about it. You want to pay for a concert ticket online. You've already chosen your seat. You've already given your information. And then you're slapped with a convenience fee. Convenience for who? For you? You're literally doing the work yourself, searching, selecting, paying. And yet, they charge you more for the privilege of giving them money. That's the kind of upside-down logic that would make no sense if it weren't so widespread. But because everyone does it, airlines, banks, ticket vendors, it has become normal. Now move into the world of education, where you'll find another scam disguised as necessity, college textbooks. Every student knows this pain. A single book priced at $200, $300, sometimes more. And the kicker? A new edition comes out almost every year with only minimal changes. Maybe they shuffle the chapters around or update a few examples, but the core content is the same. What they're really doing is forcing students to buy again, while making older editions obsolete. A multi-billion-dollar industry thrives off a captive audience. Students who have no other option but to comply. Then there's the booming world of health and wellness products. Don't get me wrong, taking care of your health is important. But the industry has turned it into a gold mine by preying on insecurities. Fat-burning teas, magic pills, powders that promise to detox your body. They slap scientific-sounding words on the label, but when you look at the actual evidence, the benefits are either exaggerated or non-existent. Hope has become a product. Insecurity has become a niche, and people desperate for results pay again and again, even though what they're buying rarely works as advertised. But let's step into a darker corner of the financial world. Overdraft fees. Imagine this. You don't have enough money in your account. Instead of helping, your bank punishes you. They charge you $30, $40, sometimes more, for the crime of being broke. Think about how twisted that is. The less you have, the more you owe. The system is designed so that those already struggling are pushed deeper into struggle. And yet, we accept it because that's just how banking works. If money isn't being drained directly from your account, it's being siphoned through culture itself. Take fast fashion, for example. The promise is simple. Cheap, trendy clothes available instantly. But here's the hidden scam. These clothes are designed to fall apart. Low-quality stitching, fragile fabric, and fading colors ensure that what you buy won't last. That means you'll have to come back again and again to buy more. The cycle is endless, and though you think you're saving money in the short term, in the long run, you're spending more and destroying the environment in the process. It's profitable precisely because it looks cheap. And finally, for this first section, let's address something almost everyone has experienced: tipping culture. What began as a genuine gesture of gratitude has, in many places, transformed into an obligation. Suddenly, it's on you, the customer, to cover the gap left by corporations that refuse to pay fair wages. The cost of service isn't borne by the businesses that profit, but by you. And if you don't comply, you're shamed as being rude or ungrateful. The scam isn't tipping itself. The scam is how companies have shifted responsibility from themselves onto you, while they continue to pocket the profits. 6 scams, all hiding in plain sight, all considered normal, and yet When you pause for a moment and really look, the pattern becomes clear. These aren't random quirks of modern life. They're carefully engineered systems designed to extract more from you while giving less in return. But we're only halfway through. In the next part, we'll dive into 6 more normalized scams that are so deeply embedded in our everyday lives. You might not even recognize them for what they are. And once you see them, you'll never look at the world the same way again. 12 normalized scams everyone just goes along with part 2. We've already uncovered 6 scams that live right under our noses. Convenience fees, overpriced textbooks, wellness fads, overdraft penalties, fast fashion, and tipping culture. Each one shows us how cleverly the world can disguise exploitation as normal. But those were just the beginning. Let's move deeper into the system, into the spaces where image, emotion, and even dreams themselves are turned into products to be sold back to us. Consider luxury branding. At its core, luxury should mean quality, craftsmanship, durability, excellence. And yet, in the modern world, most luxury goods are not priced for what they are, but for what they represent. A handbag that costs $50 to manufacture is sold for $5,000, not because the materials justify it, but because of a logo, a name, a symbol that tells the world who you are, or at least who you want them to believe you are. The scam I send to that the item is worthless. The scam is that its true cost has been buried under the illusion of status. You're not buying leather. You're buying a story. And billions of people are willing to pay for the story. Now, let's talk about the digital world we're all immersed in. Subscription traps. At first, they seem harmless. A free trial here, a $5 monthly service there. But the business model is rarely about serving you well. It's about making you forget. Companies know you'll sign up easily, but they design cancellation processes to be difficult, confusing, or hidden. They bank on your inattention. That $5 a month turns into $60 a year. Multiplied by millions of users who forgot to hit cancel, subscription isn't just a service. It's a psychological trap, monetizing laziness and distraction. From entertainment to love itself, let's step into the wedding industry. Few things expose how normalized scams work better than weddings. The moment you attach the word wedding to anything, the price triples. Flowers, cakes, dresses, venues, the same items that would be affordable in another context suddenly skyrocket in cost. Why? Because you've been taught that weddings are a once-in-a-lifetime event and therefore worth any price. It's an emotional chokehold, families willing to sink into debt for one day of spectacle. And the industry thrives on that vulnerability, turning love, something pure and human, into one of the most expensive niche markets on earth. Speaking of emotional chokeholds, let's examine the lottery dream. It's sold as hope. Buy a ticket, change your life. Overnight, you could be rich beyond your wildest imagination. But when you look closer, the truth emerges. The odds are stacked astronomically against you. The system is built so that almost everyone loses. It's not a ticket to wealth, it's a tax on desperation. Governments and corporations profit from it because people, especially those struggling financially, cling to the fantasy. The scam I send to the lottery itself. It has the idea that buying a ticket is a path forward, when in reality it's a path in circles. But scams don't just hide in numbers and prices. They hide in what you eat. Enter processed food marketing. Walk down any grocery aisle and you'll see boxes screaming with buzzwords. Natural, organic, low-fat, heart-healthy. But turn the package over, and you'll often find sugar, chemicals, preservatives, or sodium levels through the roof. Health washing has become one of the most profitable industries in the world. They've mastered the art of selling comfort food dressed up as medicine, and consumers eat it up, literally. And finally, perhaps the most invisible scam of them all, workaholism culture. This isn't about one product or one industry. This is about the very fabric of how society measures worth. From an early age, we're told to hustle, to grind, to measure success by how busy we are, how many hours we work, how much of ourselves we sacrifice. Productivity has been elevated to a moral virtue, even when it destroys health, family, and peace of mind. The scam is simple, convincing people that endless work is noble, while corporations and systems quietly benefit from their exhaustion. You trade your most precious resource, your life energy, for the illusion of honor. These 6 scams, luxury branding, subscription traps, wedding exploitation, lottery dreams, processed food marketing, and workaholism culture, show us how deeply manipulation has seeped into every corner of our lives. They don't need to be hidden because they thrive in plain sight. And because society accepts them as just the way things are, they go unchallenged. But here's the truth. Every scam we've covered, from the smallest convenience fee to the largest cultural expectation, shares a common thread. They work only if you don't question them. They thrive on blind acceptance. In the next and final part, we'll explore what all of this really means, why we accept these scams so easily, how awareness changes everything, and what it truly looks like to rise above the systems that profit from our unconscious compliance. 12 normalized scams everyone just goes along with part 3. We then now walk through 12 scams that everyone just goes along with, from convenience fees to luxury branding, from fast fashion to workaholism culture. But the real question remains, why? Why do so many of us accept these systems, shrug our shoulders, and move on as if nothing is wrong? The answer lies in conditioning. We've been trained to normalize what should never have been normal. Society wraps these scams in language that sounds harmless. Convenience, tradition, status, success. And the more we hear it, the less we question it. Over time, we accept it not because it's fair or logical, but because it feels inevitable. It's like living in a house where the walls are slightly crooked. You don't notice after a while, because you've learned to adjust your vision. But here's the reality. Once you step outside that house, once you see straight walls, you realize how distorted your environment really was. And that's what awareness does. It breaks the spell. Now, let's reflect on the deeper damage these normalized scams cause. They don't just take your money. They take your time, your attention, and sometimes even your self-worth. Think about the grind culture. How many people spend decades working themselves into exhaustion, believing that their sacrifice proves their value, only to realize too late that they were pawns in a system designed to consume them? Or consider the lottery dream, people pinning hope on a 1 in 100 million chance instead of building real strategies for growth. These aren't harmless quirks of society. They shape how millions live and die. And yet, here's the twist. You can't escape all of them. That's the uncomfortable truth. You'll still buy clothes, you'll still tip your server, you might even subscribe to a service you forget about. The scams are too deeply baked into modern life to avoid completely. But avoidance was never the true goal. The goal is awareness. Because once you see these patterns, you play the game differently. When you recognize luxury branding as a status illusion, you stop craving it blindly. When you see the wedding industry as an inflated market, you make choices that reflect love rather than debt. When you understand fast fashion's designed to fail, you shift toward quality that lasts. You stop playing on autopilot. And in doing so, you reclaim something more valuable than money, freedom. And here's where it gets even more profound. These scams don't just exist in the marketplace. They exist in our minds. The greatest scam of all is the belief that we must shrink ourselves, silence our doubts, and follow the crowd. That conformity is safety. But history shows the opposite. Progress has always come from those willing to see what others refuse to see. So what does it mean to rise above these scams? It doesn't mean cynicism. It doesn't mean paranoia. It means curiosity. It means asking why when everyone else says that that's just the way it is. It means standing tall in a world that profits from your compliance. You see, awareness itself is resistance. When you stop accepting convenience fees without a second thought, when you push back against overdraft charges, when you choose not to buy into every fad diet or overpriced ritual, you're remaking a statement. You're reminding yourself that your life, your choices, and your values are not for sale. And yes, there will always be people who laugh it off, who say, that's just life. But the truth is, life doesn't demand we go along with every scam. Life demands we wake up to them so that we can choose consciously how to engage. At the end of the day, scams only work if you believe in them. And once you've seen the trick, it loses its power. So the next time you're faced with something that feels normal, pause, look closer, ask yourself, who benefits? Who pays? And am I walking willingly into a trap just because everyone else does? Because here's the ultimate truth. The most dangerous scams are not the ones hidden in the shadows. They are the ones done in broad daylight right in front of us with our full participation. But once you see them, you can never unsee them. And that clarity, that awakening, is the first step to freedom.